We actually, yes, we invented the world's very first all-electric skid steer. It's been almost 8 years now. We're babies in this industry if you think about heavy equipment, but we're certainly not prototype. We've got almost 1,000 units worldwide in the field. And what makes us a little different is we certainly, we built this from the ground up to be electric. So we never took a shell of something diesel to resurrect it to something electric. And that makes our equipment quite a bit more efficient.
Decentralized, got to realize, don't decarbonize. Decentralized, decentralized. Decentralized, decentralized.
Welcome to today's episode of Decentralized TV. I'm Mike Adams, and today we've got a brand new guest with an extraordinary and very innovative company that's got some, I think, intriguing solutions for decentralized living, off-grid living, rural living, and so much more. And you probably won't guess this product category until we introduce our guest. But welcome, Todd. It's great to have you on the show today. How you doing?
Great seeing you again. I'm excited about this interview, as I am always. But this one in particular, because, I mean, if you can't get motivated by remotely operated skid steers, I mean, you just can't fog a mirror.
Oh, okay. Well, but let's break it down into a practical manner here for our viewers, because what we have invited today is the COO of, or who we have invited is the COO of a company called First Green that manufactures all electric skid steers and certain other types of vehicles that are incredibly useful for ranches, small farms, hobby farms, even road maintenance on your own driveway, road construction on a smaller scale, or even a larger scale. And so this is something that you can charge with sunlight when you have your own home solar system set up, that we're also interviewing top people in that field as well. So does that sound like something you want, Todd? You want one of these units?
It does.
In Florida? For your food forest?
Chomping at the bit. Yeah. No, it's as I did my research, I'm just like, this is a wow. You know, these guys went all in from the beginning, and it's just amazing. Oh yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, you need one of these pieces of equipment because you're a food forest. Now, I own all the like John Deere diesel ultra high powered stuff, but it's a pain to maintain. So let's bring in our guest.
Yeah, there we go.
Here we go. It's Marcus Suess, who is the COO of a company called First Green, and their website is first.green. And you can check them out there. We're going to talk about what they have available and how they have come to be apparently the world leader in this space, from what I can tell. But welcome, Marcus. It's great to have you here today.
Hey, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I can respect the audience that is looking for the decentralized living. I think it's a fascinating way to go. And more and more people are interested in that kind of lifestyle.
Absolutely. Well, Marcus, let me just set the intro, and then we'll let you talk a lot here today to talk about what you've got. I just want to tell the audience this is not a sponsored segment. Your company hasn't paid us anything. We don't take money from any guest, period, ever. This is all independent, but the reason I reached out to your company is because we are beginning to interview a lot of innovators in this space of electric, either vehicles, ranch vehicles, UTVs, side-by-sides, and solar systems for off-grid living. And what sparked this is the war in the Middle East and the oil supply and the motor oil and the diesel prices. All of a sudden, everybody wants an alternative. And it turns out, Marcus, your company, you were way ahead of this thing. So tell us about First Green.
Right. So we actually, yes, we invented the world's very first all-electric skid steer. It's been almost 8 years now. We're babies in this industry if you think about heavy equipment, but we're certainly not prototype. We've got almost 1,000 units worldwide in the field. And what makes us a little different is we certainly we built this from the ground up to be electric. So we never took a shell of something diesel to resurrect it into something electric. And that makes our equipment quite a bit more efficient, what it does. We're out of the Czech Republic. We make our skid steers out of the Czech Republic with all European components. But we bring them into the U.S. here. We have our warehouse. All sales, service, and support is here stateside.
In North Carolina?
Actually, in several places. So
Okay.
Albany is where we have our warehousing. We'll be opening a warehouse on the West Coast as well. So, and we've got employees that sort of cover, the states, just as you would these days, virtually or otherwise. So,
And then I just have a couple of really basic questions to just so our audience knows what we're talking about here. Now, I'm a ranch owner and I own a lot of different equipment, hydraulic equipment, whatever. So one of my main questions then is, so you have electric motors that drive the wheels of your vehicles, but do you also have an electric pump that drives the hydraulics?
yes. So we use standard hydraulics because we know that there is thousands and thousands of attachments out there, and attachments outlive skid steers, by 3-4x. So the reason to have hydraulic standard couplers is so that you can use your current attachments.
Yes.
Yep. So we use a hydraulic pump that's run over electric. Yes.
So it's like typically people might call it like a half-inch hydraulic quick connect.
Correct.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And you're right. Those of us who own skid steers, we have a field of attachments that, in my case, half of them are rusting because I live in Texas. But we have a field of attachments that we might use one day, and occasionally we do. So that's great. And then finally, one more question. I noticed that over time, it seems like you upgraded your battery chemistry. You had lead acid batteries, and maybe you still do for some models. But personally, I'm not a fan of lead acid at all. But you have lithium. I think you have lithium ion, and then you have lithium iron phosphate, as I understand it. Can you talk a little bit about the battery chemistry you have?
Absolutely. That's a great point. So we do use different battery chemistries for different environments. Lead acid was something that's worked in forklifts for over 50 years, and it's a very steady, strong technology. It also works very well as a heavy counterbalance, right? So,
yeah, good point.
So that's how we innovated at first, using very inexpensive lead acid batteries that were pretty high capacity. But the technology in the battery world has, even in 7 years, has changed dramatically, and there's billions of dollars going into that industry. So actually, we've increased the size of our largest battery by 1/3 within the last 2 years in the same chassis. So you can imagine that's a pretty big advancement with the amount of runtime you can get out of that.
Is that where you're talking about, what, 30-something kilowatt hours that you're getting now?
Yes. So we have a 630 amp hour battery at 96 volts. So it's pretty sizable. But to your point, to go, just so I don't miss that, we do still use lead acid. We are in some very high heat environments where lithium can be dangerous, I'll say. We've never had any issues, and but some of the larger corporations still would require lead acid over lithium without more extensive testing that they're also not willing to use or try. So there's a lot of reasons we still use lead acid, but the majority of our products are going out lithium these days.
Okay, one thing to mention, and then Todd has a lot of questions for you. And I'm sure your team is monitoring this, but there have been a lot of announcements out of China's companies like Cadle and BYD about now sodium ion chemistry, which has a much higher temperature tolerance for charge and discharge cycles, and it doesn't have the same self-combustion risks. I bet you this is hard to even keep up with because it's changing so fast.
Yeah, it moves very quickly. It's moving, but to be honest, our batteries, we purchase them from U.S. suppliers. So we have our machines out of Czech Republic. Since the battery is such a main component, we want to have those suppliers here stateside. So we use a couple companies in the States, and being very, very, very honest about it, these battery companies, they have full-time people researching all these technologies. I just use them once they're able to be put into our equipment. But you're right, it changes monthly. And again, the capacity and the density of the batteries is what I keep up with, because
Okay.
we were only able to put in a 420 amp hour for battery 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. Now we're up to 630 amp hours without having to change anything in the chassis.
Wow.
And that's, that density is just continuing or the power capacity continues to increase. That's what excites us. So.
Well, Todd, I mean, how cool is this, huh? I mean, think about it. You can just plug it in, you can charge it, because most people, you're not using, if you're not a professional contractor, right, and you have a small skid steer on your farm, you're going to use it on a Saturday or something. So you just plug it in, even if it takes 24 hours to charge. Who cares?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm regretting, buying that 10-ton diesel Hemi with a dual quad-robustion system and a poured-out carburetor. But, I'm starting to feel a little electric envy. Marcus, most manufacturers are cautiously experimenting with electrical equipment while keeping one foot firmly in the diesel world. But First Green went all in from the beginning, as I understand it. So what did you see coming that convinced you electric machinery wasn't a side project, but the future of the industry?
Good question.
And
Thank you.
Great question, Todd. So we first off talk about how we are a tool, just as diesel is. So we want to be side by side to diesel. And we want somebody to come up and say, hey, that's the right tool for this job, or that's the right tool for the job. We believe diesel will almost never be displaced, maybe not in my lifetime. And it's got to be used in a lot of different projects where electric's maybe just not ready today. But we find that as our equipment grows in sales and different use cases, we're finding environments we never even imagined we'd be much better than diesel in. So what we initially saw was an attractive machine to even the homeowner segment, who is not really looking to rent a very loud, maybe intimidating piece of equipment. And so that rental segment was where we kind of started and said, if we could capture that market and somebody could bring home a machine, run it by remote control, run it by sitting on it, hit a button, there's no noise, right? It's very quiet. They can definitely take advantage of this type of equipment. As we grew, that's when we started to see, our equipment is running near hospitals where they don't want any exhaust anywhere near the hospital environment, or running in mines where they don't have to do any air exchange because our equipment's all electric. Running in dusty and dirty environments where we have no airflow for our equipment, so there's no filters to get clogged up.
Tell me about it. One of the most one of the most common problems of, like, I have a John Deere 333, and when I bought it, because I have what do they call it, like the agriculture package, I was told the number one problem is they catch on fire when people don't clean out all the brush dust that gets into the air intake filter and surrounds the engine. These things burn up frequently. Wow. And I carry a fire extinguisher in the vehicle for that purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. We have no airflow, so we do a lot in the aggregate markets where maybe it's the concrete industry or anything else that they're moving dust, right? Nothing to blow out. And to put a fire risk into perspective, diesel has a much higher risk than electric does. We've never had an accident. We don't believe we'll ever have an accident. We have very sophisticated battery management systems that hold accidents from happening. But people still ask that question frequently, right? It's on their minds, and it's important.
You also have an external stop button or a control, right? So even from the outside, someone can stop the machine. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. If somebody is in a dangerous position, or possibly that really works towards cutting the power to the battery immediately.
Uh-huh.
And this way, the battery can, if there was an issue, the battery would cool starting right that moment. So it's a safety feature, and I think mostly used when a child, like not a child, but a young teenager or somebody goes into the machine, and mom and dad right outside slash that button, or a coworker of some sort is oftentimes when it's used. Our equipment is very quiet, so people can speak to one another. It's one of the things we do at a demo frequently, where we say, hey Jim, can you hear me for a second? And they say, yeah, what's up? And I go, can't do that in a diesel, right? And they're like, okay, good point, right?
That's true.
But that doesn't prevent people from putting earbuds in and listening to their favorite podcast or music.
Well, I'm curious about also the responsiveness of it, because what I know from owning a lot of diesel equipment and also studying a lot of EV type equipment is, of course, electric motors maintain their torque through all ranges of RPMs, whereas diesel engines or gas engines only have high torque and their best power in a very narrow range of RPMs. And so you get this thing where if I'm trying to pick up a really heavy load, like 4,000 pounds of dirt or something, and I crank the throttle up, and then maybe I hit the double speed button for the hubs on the track gears. There's a lag, and then there's a kind of a jerkiness, or there's a responsive delay from the engine itself. Is that smoothed a lot in your vehicles?
Yeah, we all know that electric has almost instant torque, and we actually lower the torque curve a little bit because it's just too strong. Often, the other thing we do for individual cases, we can program the machine to have any kind of torque curve, right? So you tell me I want it to be stronger. It's a very simple programming. But the fact is, you could creep up to that pile of gravel or dirt or whatever it is, creep up very slowly, punch it, and you'll go right into the gravel from a few inches away, rather than having to be a few feet back, rev and go. So there is instant torque, and it does make electric more maneuverable in those kind of environments, because you don't have to have more space to do the same amount of work.
Wow. All right, you're selling us, because Todd and I are now both going to want something but I want to ask you about pricing, by the way, because if that's something you're willing to mention publicly, a range or something, our audience will be curious, not just for us. But Todd, your turn. What do you want to know?
Listening to all that, I just have a sneaky suspicion that the diesel guys will listen to this interview the way Blockbuster listened to Netflix. Just a sneaky suspicion. I want to talk a little bit more about batteries, being the new strategic resource. Many freedom-minded people worry that electrification simply replaces one dependency with another. Are we trading dependence on oil producers for dependence on battery producers, ultimately?
That's an excellent, really great question, Todd. I would say that oil, obviously is a natural resource that we have to keep an eye on. I know that we feel like we have endless amounts. Batteries, the technology inside the battery, as we were just talking about, is changing to have different chemistries all the time. So we may have lithium ion batteries for another, 3, 4, 5, 10 decades, as well as lithium ion phosphate, as well as this next chemistry and this next chemistry. So really, those technology differences are vast and wide, and things we don't even know about yet. So I believe that the way we charge the battery is going to change, right? We've got it from different sources, whether it's all our equipment charges off of 110. So even our largest equipment can be charged off of 110. We know how that power comes to our house, right? We know that oftentimes it's coal or oil or nuclear, hopefully, but a lot of different sources. But we can also do it with, as we talk, solar. We can do it with turbines. There's a lot of different ways to charge that. And with gas, there's really one way to get the combustion. We know all about it. There will be definite advancements in fuel for as long as we know, but I think the advancements of battery is going to be so much wider that dependency is not going to be so limited.
Let me ask a follow-up.
Todd, I'm sorry. Can I interject
Sure.
a partial,
Sure.
just a follow-up answer? And please pardon me for a moment here, Marcus, but part of, we talk about energy density of battery chemistry. And when you talk about EV cars and trucks, they're always trying to get the highest energy density, something over 200 watt hours per kilogram typically, because they need the vehicle to be light. That is not the case with this equipment. You need ballast in the back of the equipment. So when you talk about, I mentioned sodium ion battery chemistry, which uses a really universally available element, sodium, available all across North America, of course, too. You don't need lithium in some of these newer chemistries. You only get, let's say, 175 watt hours per kilogram. But if you didn't have that, you'd have to add iron weights on the back of the vehicle anyway, because you can't pick up 3,000 pounds of dirt unless you've got 3,000 pounds in the back, So in fact, my John Deere has like thousands of pounds of weights on the back that you just slapped on there. That could be batteries.
That could be batteries, right? We can replace that with batteries, as many as you can put together.
Yes.
And, so we certainly put ballast on now, right? And people, homeowners and people who purchase the equipment do really unique things to get more lifting capacity, because our hydraulics will lift more. But we have to weigh down the back of the machine. So weight is an issue for us.
You need more weight.
Yeah,
right?
This is our
wild?
junk. Yeah, this is our junk in the trunk segment, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Marcus, if you could wave the magic wand and solve one battery limitation tomorrow, what breakthrough would most dramatically accelerate electric equipment adoption, do you think?
Fantastic question. Well, I guess I would ask for quicker charging times.
Okay.
With the same, obviously voltage and amperage going in. I know that's impossible to ask for, but we make our chargers so that they will charge off of 110, right? They'll charge off of two 110s, charge off of 220. And the power infrastructure here in the US, we cannot make it so that somebody is just going to have fast charging everywhere. That just doesn't exist yet. You can fast charge our equipment, but that's not going to be on every work site. That's not going to be at the hospital, wherever we're doing the work. So I would ask that, if we could find better charging, faster charging. And one of those reasons is that we have the ability to hot swap our batteries. So if our batteries do a 7-8 hour shift, you can pull it out and have a second battery, and somebody could do a second shift while the other one's charging.
That's cool.
And can that be done by one person, or is it a two-man job, or what is that?
Great question.
It depends on the machine. So you could do it with a pallet jack, right?
Okay.
So it's a one-person job, right? With a pallet jack, you slide it in, a couple pumps, lift it just an inch or so, and pull it out. It's mostly a one-person job, and our door, the hinges on the back are, they're easy to open. So hot swapping is definitely something we pride ourselves in, because we just don't want limitation.
Yeah.
And that's what we've avoided with hot swapping. Machines can only be a certain size to do the certain work they do, um, and that's what we're doing. So, Todd, I guess maybe the other thing is y- you know, the the challenge that we have with charging and in the cold. Everybody says, isn't the battery going to go dead in the cold? Well, no, the battery doesn't go dead. It's that if the battery is below a certain temperature, the charger will not be able to communicate with that battery. So they don't talk. And when they don't talk, there's no, won't be able to charge. So it's a simple solution. You take the machine out for 3 or 4 minutes, run it, the battery's going to warm right up, then you come back and you charge it. The other solution is you just keep it plugged in at all times. It's always going to have that communication. It's always going to be warming.
And that problem, though, will be solved by battery chemistry literally in the next 18 months. I've seen the specs coming out.
Right. If you can charge them in sub-degree temperatures because there's no risk to the battery chemistry, that's awesome.
I've seen minus 40 Celsius for charging and discharging with more than 80% of the capacity.
Wow.
Of course, this is Chinese tech I'm talking about. But think about it. Ford has licensed the battery technology from CATL. So Ford is making, Chinese licensed batteries. But there's also another company called Donut Lab, you may have heard of, out of Estonia, I believe they are, that claims they have a solid state battery, although not everybody believes them, but they are proving it through weekly demonstrations and independent lab tests that looks quite amazing, and it has shockingly high temperature resilience on the high side as well as the low side. So anyway, I'm just saying, Marcus, I think you guys are brilliant because you have the chassis ready, you have the electronics ready, the software ready. You can just, in a modular fashion, you can swap out the best battery tech that comes along.
Right.
Thank you for that, because it's really a point. We have customers that have 3-year-old, 4-year-old lead acid battery machines, and they buy a new lithium battery, and it's just we just put it in, and awesome. There's a computer programming piece that we switch on our side to make sure that the battery's reading correct percentages, but it's really very simple to swap out and do. So the next technology that comes along, where I think we're prepared for it.
Oh, a quick question. You know how some EVs today have what's called, I think it's an well, I'm not sure what they call it actually, but where you can plug in like a power tool. So your car has an outlet and you can plug in a 110 drill or whatever. Did you have anything like that?
Yeah, we have 12 volt external ports if you need them, or you can do a lot of different charging. And what's unique about that is on the other side of it, I see people with these EV pickup trucks charging our equipment, which is cool too.
That's great.
Yeah. But you can charge your power tools or use certain power tools.
But that's 12 volt?
It's a 12 volt, but you could get we have converters as well that we sell as well with it. But people usually just want the 12 volt extension.
Got it.
And then they take it from there.
Okay.
So we're very much like a right to fix company. We don't sell direct to customers. We go through dealerships, and we want them to have that local relationship. But our equipment is very modular. So you could take apart most of our equipment with a torque wrench. There's very few welds, and you can replace a lot of our parts
yourself.
I'm not going to say everybody does it, but there's a lot of people that can do it. And we have people do unique things with our equipment all the time, because it's, once the electricity is converted to certain current, then they can take it from there and plow their driveway from inside their house because they're using a remote control with a Wi-Fi camera.
That's wild.
Can we talk about that? This is a part of the interview I'm excited about.
Okay, I'll bring up the screen of your remote control vehicles.
Yeah,
here.
let's talk.
That's wild.
Teleoperation. So you've described a future where operators could potentially control machinery remotely, literally from anywhere. Does that ultimately create more jobs, or does it lead to one person replacing multiple machine operators, do you think, Marcus?
Uh, we always talk about the transition in jobs, but it would make things more efficient for job sites because as 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 we do in this world, we take lunch breaks, we go home for the night. Um, Things happen where somebody on the other side of the world is waking up and can teleoperate that machine while the job site is safe and closed for locally. Somebody else could be doing work. It's ultimately going to make the work more efficient and allow workers to move on to the next job that they've got. So I believe there's never, my personal opinion is there's very few jobs that ever are taken over by robotics or technology in general. I always feel that there's a lot of transition into other work. Um, and we're a big supporter of the trades, and everybody talks about AI, but I don't think AI is going to come out and fix my sink, right?
Right.
We have a big lag in that trade, in the trade schools right now. We have a lot of well-paying jobs, people who can come out and do trade work, but that's a side point. Sorry
Not to
about that.
mention, I think somewhere there's a teenager listening right now thinking, wait, are you kidding me? I can drive heavy equipment from a chair?
Well, can I introduce a little skepticism? I mean, I love the fact that it can be teleoperated, but for me, myself, as an operator of lots of equipment, excavators, dozers, skid steers, there's a feel. You know this, Marcus, right? All operators will tell you there's a feel. If I'm repairing a road and I'm using a float feature on the bucket and I'm smoothing out gravel, you feel it, right? You feel it in the seat. That's not going to be teleoperated. So there's always a place, isn't there, Marcus, for local operators?
I believe that 100%, and that's why we always talk about the right tool for the right job. So teleoperation in mining is, for me, and it would be a great advancement, right? We keep people out of the mines, keep them safe. Maybe we're talking about all kinds of mining. Open pit mining could be dangerous as well. There's a lot of jobs where we want to keep people safe, but teleoperation is not going to be used, as you say, for repairing a road, right? It's not going to be valuable to the contractor, to the company that's doing it, and you're not going to have the right job done. It's going to be done poorly, if anything. But
Okay.
if we're talking about possibly moving this pile of gravel to this part of the work site, and we need to do it we need to do it every day because it continues to be that's the job. Or we're loading trucks over here, we need to get the gravel over here. What if you could tell the machine, hey, go to point A. When you get to point A, I'm going to take control. I'm going to dig into that gravel, get a full bucket, then go over to point B, right? And meantime, I'm going to take control of point B. That machine's already there, and I can load the truck. So it's more of a semi-autonomous thing in that respect. Avoid people, avoid anything that's crossing through those paths, and do all that, and keep people safe. But those are the sort of repetitive things I could see with a little more teleoperation as well. But there's a lot of work that's done with the skid steer. We always call it the Swiss Army knife of the heavy equipment world because it can do so many different things.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you. In fact, I want to make this really practical for our audience, and I'm showing on the screen. Here's your Elise 900 and 700 models, doing some wood splitting in this case, and here you have a grapple bucket that is very useful. So around the farm, around the ranch, for everything from road repair to dealing with brush, wood, moving compost around, moving pallets, because you can get forks, right? And you can move pallets around. In fact, I was just receiving some very heavy solar equipment that is only on a pallet. And so I just took my skid steer, picked up forks, picked it right off the truck, put the forks down, pick up a bucket. I can't live without a skid steer. But here's my question. You have this Elise 500 now. This is kind of, I guess, your smallest model. It's got 1,100 pound lifting capacity. This would be the most affordable model, I would assume?
Yes, and it's gonna, it's going to be a very compact model. And,
Right. It looks compact. Yeah.
yeah, there's going to be a very limited scope of where I believe that will be a great machine to work on.
Yep.
So because it's so close to our mini loader, which lifts about 900 pounds, and that's more of a, as people would know the word Toro Dingo type competitor.
Uh-huh.
So the 400 and the 500 lift almost the same. So it's going to be pretty close in what they do. Maybe the big difference between obviously the Mini Z400, it could go through the standard 32-inch doorway. So Todd, you could like bring it in the house, grapple bucket.
That's crazy.
And like lift the couch or
Perfect.
have it, so move things around.
Is it the Elise 700 that's your most commonly purchased model by rural people, or like sort of ranch?
Yeah, that would be the most common. The 500 hasn't been released just yet. We've got a release date of Q1, Q4 this year.
Oh, okay.
Q1, yeah. So I can't give you really anecdotal data just yet.
Okay.
I can give you anecdotal data, I can't give you the practical. We're always amazed by what our machines go out and do, what people use them. So maybe I could come back next year and give you an update.
We'd love to hear more, but roughly, for example, if I were to go out and try to buy brand new another John Deere compact track loader that I own, it's a 333. It's a much larger machine than what you have here, but that's a $140,000 machine the way I outfit it. And so, it costs more than most people's trucks or cars or a few homes. But yours, I assume, aren't at that price range, but can you talk about ranges that people could expect?
Sure. So our skid steer models range anywhere from 100 to 150, and a lot of that depends on the battery. So obviously the size of the equipment is going to vary a little bit, but most of it's depending on what battery you're thinking about using. Our smaller model, our Mini Z400, is 45 to 50 MSRP. To maybe 60. And so we know we're just a little bit higher than diesel, but your ROI on that comes very, very quickly. You can get that back in less than a year, and then you've got a 5 to 7 year life on this equipment where you're not just if in 5 years you're replacing something, it might to get a brand new refurbished machine. Again, everything's modular, so you might be able to, if you want to change the motors out to something new that we might have. The batteries, as you know, they don't lose full capacity.
Right.
So you may have still 80% of your battery. You might want to keep it or get a new one. Now you still have a battery to do whatever else you might be doing it with, or then you use it as a hot swap. So there's a lot of different options that our machines don't just tail off and die.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. We've got Generation 1 machines in the single digits still out there running, doing hard work, and it's just, we love that they can go on for years just because of that modular construction.
So let me ask about maintenance real quickly too, and then I'm sorry, Todd, you're up. You got lots of questions, but
no worries. I
got to jump in. So of course, for maintenance, it has all the same, grease points, obviously. You have probably a hydraulic oil filter because you're circulating hydraulic oil, but you don't have engine oil, obviously. So you don't have also diesel fuel filters and diesel fuel water separators. And you don't have, like one time I had a spider build a web in my diesel nozzle and it got into my diesel uptake. And it the machine would not function because of a spider web in the uptake fuel line, which was only like a 3/8 inch line. So right. You eliminate what percent of the maintenance?
98%.
What?
Yeah, 98%. I mean, there's really very few moving parts. Is that you've talked about our maintenance? That conversation's pretty much over. So.
Well, but you still, I mean, you still have to grease it, right? So that's normal.
Grease points.
Okay. And then, but you,
Yeah.
I mean, what are there
Hydraulic
any other
filter.
filters? What do you change?
Hydraulic filter.
Yeah.
And yeah, the oil in the hubs is going to be,
Yeah, the hub oil. Yep.
yeah, it's going to be years of that. So you really, I mean, day to day, it's very, very little maintenance.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. So, well,
And of course, with less moving parts, we have less things breaking. That's the important part for the ROI and the uptime of the equipment.
okay. You know what we should do? We'd love to have you back, by the way, and we're not done today. I'm just saying, in the future, you could bring a customer with you on this, like have them join. Wouldn't that be cool, Todd? We could
That
have
would be very cool.
like one of your happy customers that's using it on a job site or something.
Yep.
Like join us and talk about it. That'd be cool.
Absolutely. We do voice of the customer interviews often because we are always trying to find out what we're not doing well, what we can improve, and then we always find out what they're so pleased about that we didn't really know about beforehand. So it's always interesting to have customers. I'd love to have a customer on here.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, Todd. Hey, Todd, maybe you'll be a customer. You're gonna
Maybe.
Why don't you just buy one?
There we go.
And you can film it in your food forest.
Right. Hey, Marcus, I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to answer, and then I'm going to answer the question as well after you answer. Fair? Okay. Imagine we're sitting here in 2040. What would have to happen between now and then for you to say, mic drop, the electric industrial revolution succeeded?
Oh, it's a wonderful question. You really threw out some wonderful questions today. So I appreciate
Todd is the
that.
question Jedi.
Well, and we love hard questions, and of course you can imagine in our industry we do get them pretty regularly, but they're usually the same questions over and over, and this one is unique. Let's see, I would say that we have matched the amount of diesel sale skid steers to electric sales skid steers.
Whoa.
50-50.
Whoa.
And I would say that is,
Boom.
I think the tipping point, it would be long before there because that wave is coming, and that tipping point is coming closer. But we still got a pretty good reach to get there.
But I
Good
would
answer.
think that, Kubota or somebody like that would want to invest in your company to achieve a technology transfer of some kind so that they bypass a number of years of the learning curve that you guys have already been through.
And it's a steep learning curve, right? We're on
Yeah.
our third generation machine, and this heavy equipment, they take, you treat it, it should be dirty, it should be beat up. And that's what we see when we get it, when we do any kind of repairs or interviews with customers, and we love it. But it's certainly a learning curve from where we were on our Gen 1 machines.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right. I get to answer my own question.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot. Go ahead.
Okay. So my answer is it's going to be when our grandkids begin asking us, wait, you mean people used to carry liquid explosions around in tanks?
On every job
Very
site.
good.
Yes.
Right.
Very good.
That's
Every
right.
toss.
That's
That's
when
just
you know
scary,
you
yeah.
win. That's when the mic drops.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, right? And we do definitely talk about there's a bigger risk of the diesel truck carrying our batteries or our equipment lighting on fire than our actual equipment.
That's fun.
Or no, here the best part about your equipment, Marcus, it doesn't need DEF fluid at all. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been on my machine, I've been shredding or something, which uses a lot of fuel, and then it just idles down. Like, what's the problem? What's the problem? Oh, ran out of DEF again. Are you kidding me? Now I got to go at idle speed back. I got to drive back and fill it up. That's the craziest. I hate that. I mean, I'm not against the use of DEF. It does make a cleaner exhaust, but the fact that then the federal mandate requires all the engines idle down to nothing, including a crane driving down the highway, has to drive at 5 miles an hour to put DEF fluid in. This is just this is hurting our economy and things aren't getting done.
Well, if you ask me, regulation has broken that, right? When we talk, anytime regulation comes along, it stops, it stops the advancements of other things. I absolutely, it makes it burn cleaner. Yes, but there are cleaner solutions. And if we have to retrofit machines or, try to do something an engine wasn't meant to do in the first place, what are we doing? I mean,
Yeah.
we could, we could leave them alone and move on to the future, right? And try to change things that from here on out. But regulation will change that all the time. So.
Hey guys, what happens if battery supply chains become centralized?
Well, in some ways, we do know all the lithium, most of the lithium produced in this world is centralized to one country, if not one continent, maybe. Hopefully, the free market will allow that to continue. That we have options for that, and I think it's going to affect the advancement in the battery technology if it gets centralized, because somebody's that big and powerful, they're not going to want to change what they do.
Sure.
And I think we're going to be, as a society, we're going to be in trouble, because you talk about batteries as a whole, anything we're not talking about double A's and triple A's, but all the power tools that use batteries, all the world that does different things on batteries now, electric generators, everything else. That's going to be terrible. And,
you don't have to worry about it though, because Trump will declare war on the Strait of Battery Hormuz, right?
No, Todd, I think battery manufacturing technology will be very decentralized, because there'll be a lot of technology transfer. For example, in India today, India is one of the largest manufacturers of solar panels, but India did not invent the manufacturing of this technique of solar panels. It was licensed to them from Japan or maybe China or European companies like Siemens, for example. So I think what happens with batteries is that the original innovators and inventors, they start manufacturing, but then they need to scale it. And in order to scale it, you got to go to lower labor cost countries, and then you set up factories there. The knowledge just starts to spread, and because you can't wipe the memory of all the chemists and all the mechanical engineers that are building these things, and it just spreads. We're going to have batteries made everywhere, I think.
Remember the Mandela effect, Mike.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Marcus, go ahead.
We've got a new, I think it was $1.4 billion battery manufacturer open just for Hyundai here in North Carolina. Within the last year. I know Atlanta scored within the last 10 years, I think 3 different battery manufacturers, massive plants. I think that shows me that there's still a lot of investment going into it. So
you mentioned Hyundai. I mean, South Korea has been a leader in battery technology for quite a long time. And in fact, Hyundai is a little bit nervous about China's innovation, and then Toyota is nervous about the rise of EVs. So probably what your company is going to be doing eventually is making a lot of other companies more and more nervous as your battery energy density climbs and climbs and climbs. And by the way, I think I saw the Bobcat company had a pilot electric skid steer at a trade show. Have you heard about that, Marcus?
Yeah, absolutely. They've been in a prototype mode for a few years. We welcome it because it brings more attention to this electric heavy equipment market. A player like Bobcat getting in there, certainly brings attention to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Again, we've got a pretty big head start. They claim about 3-hour runtime in that machine, and it's about 3 times our cost.
Oh wow!
So we do like that they have entered the market like that.
Yeah. Wow. So I don't want to pay like $500,000 for a high-end electric skids. That's too much. That's
Yes, your return on investment is forever, and you can't see it. You can't picture it,
right.
and there's no. It's very hard to manage that in your financial mind, right? We talk about green a lot for us, and that's usually we talk about two things: green and safety. And green is in your wallet because you're saving. Could be if you're running this 7-8 hours a day, you could be saving a couple $100 a day.
Yeah.
And then safety. Safety is what we talk about: noise, air quality, whatever it might be.
So when are you going to do mini excavators? Because that's the next obvious thing. And the nice thing about excavators is they don't move around that much. So they're not burning the juice like a skid steer traveling, right? A mini X is
Great
mostly
point.
stationary.
Great point. And that's why there's such a good use case for battery technology.
Yes.
And there's a lot of good battery mini excavators out there. We will enter the market. We have a few projects ahead of them, but the excavator will get there.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right. We'd love to see that. See, Todd, you're going to be able to outfit the entire property with all the toys that you need.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, and then with all of those toys, my 1-year-old grandson, he's not going to grow up dreaming about driving bulldozers like we used to. He's going to dream about controlling fleets of them, right?
Well, think about
programming like you were saying, for grade the road, right? You'll just say, hey, you got 3 of these things, just grade the road. Don't bump into each other. Get the job done quickly, right? So he'll be the one programming.
And I've learned too, the number one piece of equipment you don't want to turn over to an inexperienced operator is an excavator, because they have no idea where that boom is up there when they're rotating this thing. And it's like in our warehouse, like we have doorways between the multiple buildings. Because Marcus, we have a thriving food business, food and supplements, and so we have electric forklifts. Every one of those openings has a giant dent in it where some operator forgot that he had the forks up high and just rams right into it. It's like, dude, you're all certified, you went through the training. How did you hit the wall again? They do. They will hit it every time.
Wow.
Well, some of the unique things we do with safety now, I don't know that we can prevent that, but we could definitely put a new operator in the seat. They could punch their code in, and the fleet manager could already have programmed that operator only gets 10% power.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
learning the ropes a little bit. Or
crawl mode,
20% power, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Where the person that's been doing driving skid steers for 30 years, they get the full access. And so with that technology, there's a lot of that can be done. We include GPS in our fleet stuff, so that's all there. You can run your machine by remote, as we spoke about. But if you're in maybe you've been in maybe on a hill that you're uncomfortable with, you're in a dangerous position, you can jump out of the skid steer, pull out your phone, and drive it to a little safer place.
Oh, wow.
We don't say that's like the way to run the skid steer because Bluetooth has a little bit of a lag, but you can definitely move it to a safer place. You can move the bucket, everything, get it to a safer place, and then you can jump back in.
Wow.
But if you want to turn like a 2-man job into a 1-man job with the actual radio frequency, the RF remote control, that is very responsive. So maybe you're drilling auger holes for a fence, and you have a spotter and you can't exactly see where you're at and you want to jump out. You can run that whole thing, drill a hole, move the machine, drill the next one, just walk up and down that fence line and do it very, very efficiently. So
wow.
Maybe you need a spotter, you need close to a home or you're a power line, and you don't want to get too close. You can jump out of the machine and do the work by remote, and that's very, very efficient. Yeah.
Do you call that your oh shit app? You're just getting too close, and you're like,
I'm thinking about how thick are the safety warnings in the manual on that, because I've seen like in excavator manuals, there's literally a page that says, if your excavator is sitting on a ledge, don't dig the dirt out from underneath the ledge that you're sitting on. And I'm like, why did you have to warn somebody about that? We all saw Bugs Bunny and the Wile E. Coyote cartoons. We know physics happens.
Well, they warn it because it's been done.
It's been done. Somebody did that. Yeah. That's what, I mean, that I would just make sure people know what they're doing. Okay, Marcus, we're almost out of time. I want to be respectful of your time, but you mentioned you sell these through a dealer network only. So if there's somebody in our audience that's interested in buying one of these in the US or Canada, et cetera, how can they find their dealer?
Yeah, so if you come to our website, and it's unique because it's hard to explain. A website shouldn't be hard to explain, but ours is very simple and hard to explain.
Okay.
The word first.green.
Got it.
Green is actually the domain. So there's no .com, just first.green. And that's where you'll find us. You can check out dealer, map on there, see the
dealerships,
where dealerships might
Got
be.
it.
But then if you need to make a call and
you have a lot of dealers all over the place.
Yeah, we're a worldwide company. We just opened our first dealership in Japan. We have a long way to go, right? We've got, as you can see, we've got a big part of the central U.S. We need to have a few more dealers signed up.
You need one in Texas. Yeah. Where's Texas?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're from Texas, give me a call. I want to open a dealership there. So.
Well, that'll be in San Antonio, I'm quite sure. And then you'll have one in Dallas, Fort Worth, and one in Houston. So you'll have at least 3 in Texas. It's a big state.
Right. It's a big state. I think 3 is not quite enough.
Yeah, probably. Okay, but you've got a number of dealers right now, and I assume somebody could purchase one and have it transported, right?
We've got machines all over the country. We got many in Texas. And yes, we've got dealers who will service nationwide. We've got dealerships who sell from wherever they might be and then go ahead and service in Texas. A lot of what we do, all of our equipment transmits codes back and forth. So if you want us to look at what error code might be popping up and give you a hand, the dealership can walk you through that, right? You can get that on your app, on your phone. You can get it through the portal. We call it the virtual garage on the website once you have your machine. So a lot of what we do telematics wise is able to, we can diagnose a lot right from there. But dealerships do what they do. They come out and they help you get a machine back running no matter where you are in the country. Wow.
That's really great. Well, okay, Todd, any final comments or any last question? We're almost out of time, but
just one last question that just I was curious about during prep. So oil shaped geopolitics over a century, as battery powered machines become more common, are lithium, rare earths, and battery manufacturing becoming the strategic resources for the next century, do you think?
Yeah, yes, I think that is very accurate. We already see the mining sector changing for the precious metals and the minerals. So that's already reshaping, and that will lead into that next resource battle, if you will. Gotcha. I believe that's going to be the next big topic and challenge. So.
Great.
My opinion on that, Todd, though, I think is we're gonna have a multitude of battery breakthroughs in the next 36 months.
Okay. Yep.
From many different countries, different places around the world, and my guess is battery energy densities are going to just multiply. And you're going to be able to take one of these vehicles from first green here and run it all day, 8 hours on the future battery packs, if not already. For some, depending on what you're doing, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
amazing.
Yep. Most of our equipment gets, between 6 and 8 hours. Obviously, if you're running something very heavy on hydraulics, as you'd be aware that we might get a little bit less. So we're gonna keep working on that battery technology, working with our suppliers, and we can expand. I think it's again, high-speed charging and hot swap capabilities allow us to really do a lot with our equipment, a lot more than was available 10 years ago. But in the next 10 years, the whole landscape's going to change.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, okay, and I should also mention for those like places like California that are very concerned about emissions, which is that's not our focus here. And I'm not anti-diesel at all, but for those states, they will love the fact that there are no emissions, there's no carbon, and there's no noise. And so for, like a California highway project, maybe a contractor with your equipment would win the bid over somebody that's got diesel.
Good point.
First of all, two things. One, I'm not anti-diesel myself. I have to deliver this equipment to you in some form.
Right.
Better be in a diesel, probably going to be in a diesel truck.
Probably.
Secondly, your example maybe of a highway contractor. If you saw our equipment on the highway, it might just be like a big paperweight. Might not be the right environment. So just speak very honestly about our equipment and what we can and can't do. Being that there's probably no temp power out there, we're probably not going to be your person out there. But on the other point, California, Washington State, they do have some amazing programs that do pay for almost 80% of our equipment. So we do a significant amount of work in those states, New York as well.
Well, landscaping would be a huge use of this.
Yes, you can work earlier because there's no noise restrictions, right?
Great point.
Work later. So absolutely, landscaping is great use. And again, small businesses usually apply for those grants and they're getting them pretty easily. We help you with all that. The dealership helps you. But in those grants, I believe we'll move to certain states. And that's not our focus either, but of course, we're going to use them when they're there.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the Diesel Emission Reduction Act is also one that's nationwide. So a lot of opportunities to get some reimbursement on these.
Well, very cool. Well, Marcus, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. This has been a really fascinating conversation. I'm just really thrilled about what your company is doing. And please tell, the research I did, I think it's owned by a family in the Czech Republic, I believe. Please convey to them that we love what they're doing. We love their tech, and we're open to hearing more from you in the days ahead.
Hey, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And Todd, we're going to get you a demo very soon.
Excellent. Excellent.
There you go, Todd.
And by the way, shout out Prague, my favorite city in the world.
It's a wonderful place. It's really beautiful.
Hey, it's got a depth of culture that we never even experienced in our country here. But nevertheless, thank you so much, Marcus. It's a pleasure. And the website, folks, again, is first.green. That's it. Just like I said, it's not a typo. First.green. And check these out. And by the way, if you're watching this show, you're one of our customers or viewers, if you purchase one of these, please get in touch with us and let us know. We'd like to know how it's going for you. And, share the word, share the video with other viewers, because this is a direction a lot of people are going to go.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Marcus. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Marcus. Cheers.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And stay with us, folks. We'll be right back after this break with a quick after-party discussion here on Decentralized.tv. Join the official discussion channel for this show on Telegram at t.me/decentralizedtv, where you can ask questions or offer suggestions of who we should interview next. Also be sure to subscribe to the email newsletter on Decentralized.tv, where you'll be alerted about 1 day in advance of each new upcoming episode, before it gets published. On Decentralized.tv, you'll also find links to our video channels and social media channels across all platforms, including Brighteon, Rumble, BitChute, Twitter, Truth Social, and more. Check it all out at Decentralized.tv. All right, welcome back, folks. This is the after party here on Decentralized.tv. Okay, Todd, what do you think?
Well, Mike, it's like, it is where we're heading. And I think everybody should be paying attention to this. And so that's what I love about you is you are, Microdamus, and you have the vision to see where, as Wayne Gretzky used to say, to skate where the puck's going. And this is where the puck is going, right?
Absolutely. Well, what I see, we didn't even have a chance to talk about this on the show because it's really another topic. But, we interviewed James Martinez about Leonard technology.
Right.
And there's also a company in Japan, I think it's called Clean Planet, that has a desktop hydrogen to energy converter that's capable of 24 kilowatts of thermal energy production. It won't be too long, like within a decade, let's say, before I think that people's homes will have a power unit that just constantly generates, let's say, 10 kilowatts in your garage.
That'd be fantastic.
You don't even need a power grid.
Right.
And so you're going to have your mini power producer in your home.
Right.
Or in your hospital or in your business or whatever. And you're going to just be recharging all your electric equipment, your car, your skid steer, your drill, whatever, or powering your computer. You're going to be your own power company.
Yeah, and it's going to be right where your water heater is. So that's already been planned out.
Yeah,
so
it's going to heat the water too. Yeah, exactly.
It'll heat the water too. Right.
Right.
But
So
that's amazing.
It's clear to me that that's coming. And so imagine if we were to fast forward 10 years and let's say you had that, why would you ever want to buy diesel or gasoline? Because you could make your own energy for almost free.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. How many years out do you think that might be, Mike? I mean, if you think through it.
Well, I think for consumer widespread use, I think a decade is about right.
Yeah, I think so.
For industrial use, it's going to be 2 years.
Okay.
For water boilers, and then 5 to 7 years for more of scaling up for industrial users.
Yeah.
And then 10 years for residential is my guess.
Because I was starting to feel bad. I'm like, I had some issues with my Jeep Rubicon, and my wife finally convinced me. She's like, take the plunge. Just you love your Rubicon. Just get the new one, right?
Oh.
And then I'm hearing about all of this, and I'm like, man, but I'm probably, it's like, it's gas. It's not electric. And Mike's sharing everything electric. And I'm like, man, did I make a mistake or not? But nah, if it's going to be 10 years for consumers, I'm Gucci.
Well, but before that, you can just have solar.
I do have solar on my house. I just don't have the battery.
Right.
Yeah.
You have grid tie solar.
That's correct.
Right.
I do.
And what I'm going to be demonstrating here in the studio, we're going to be setting this up, is an off-grid solar system with battery storage.
Yep.
In fact, I've got pallets there's a big inverter over there, and we're setting this up. Got to put plywood on the walls and whatever. But we're going to show people how to have your own off-grid system to charge. Oh, and then, by the way, one of my employees just bought a Tesla. A Model Y, I think it is.
Yep.
So they said we can bring it in here to demonstrate how to charge an EV from sunlight.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we have a big roll-up door. So we'll just drive the car into the studio.
Right.
And then we're going to do a special episode about that.
You're going to spoil that employee. He or she is just going to be driving in there every day. You're going to give them a garage door opener for your big.
Right. Can I charge up again today? Yeah, well, hey, I mean, we're going to have free energy, from the solar panels.
Yeah.
But for those people who are building, let's say, a solar system, and they've got the inverter, they've got the batteries.
Right.
Then when the technology changes, you just add your Leonard device to your solar array.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if the solar panels, there's perovskite cells now that are coming out that have more like 31% efficiency. So you swap out your 21% efficient panels with your 31% efficient. You get 50% more energy from the same solar panel space.
Wow.
And then you're going to be swapping out your batteries, just like we were talking about with Marcus. You're going to take your big, heavy lithium iron phosphate batteries. You're going to chuck them in a couple of years, and you're going to bring in some better solid state, carbon fiber sodium or whatever. Who knows?
Right. Right. Man, when I was listening to him, tell me if I'm right, but if I'm tracking properly, Mike, he basically told us that the future of construction is going to be less like a job site, more like, I think, an Apple store, right? and the worker's going to need better Wi-Fi than work boots, right? At the end of the
perhaps, but I really appreciate how Marcus is very realistic about the role of the first screen vehicles. It's not for everything. He even
That's
mentioned
true.
you're not going to see it
Yep.
on a highway site, for
Makes
example.
sense. Yep, makes sense.
But doing work around a hospital makes a lot of sense, or mining, or indoor environments, or
Right.
landscaping, like we said. But I think it's also perfect for hobby farms and rural living and
Sure.
off-grid living, because, you know, when I use my skid steer, well, technically a compact track loader, I rarely use it more than 45 minutes at a time.
Yeah, right.
Almost never.
Man, I love the idea about landscapers, though. I mean, it seems like this would be perfect for a landscaper.
It's great. I mean, moving compost around is so easy with a machine like this,
Yeah.
even the small one. Moving dirt and then moving gravel, but spreading the gravel, leveling,
Yeah.
shaping roads or berms. There's a lot of, like if you're building a pond, for example, you probably hire somebody with a big ass diesel dozer to actually make the pond, right? But then, because that's a heavy, you're heavy pushing.
Is that a brand? BADD? Big ass diesel.
Big ass diesel. Yeah. You're gonna use like a Caterpillar dozer, for something like that, right?
Yep, sure.
But you're gonna hire some guy. That's what he does. And then your pond's done. Then for shaping the pond and maybe building a berm to redirect water, you could use a first green type of electric vehicle, and you could do that yourself. And you don't need to pay the dozer guy $100 an hour to burn diesel. You could just spend a few weekends and use solar energy technically and do it yourself.
Right. And that's what I love about you is you're incorporating the solar energy, because I get a little bit concerned about the vulnerability of the electrical grid as this technology advances, don't you?
Well, yeah, because we know the Eastern grid in the United States is already maxed out due to the data center demand.
Exactly.
Right. Now, the Eastern grid, as I understand, is 13 states. Is that Florida too? Is Florida on the Eastern grid, or is it something separate from the Northeastern section?
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Okay.
So
I'm not sure. I know Texas has its own grid, and then there's the Western grid. I think Florida is part of the Eastern grid.
Okay.
But I know that in Virginia, especially, there's no spare capacity because
of course.
the government's built all the Department of Defense data centers they're using every last kilowatt hour. But I agree with you that you're not going to be able to always rely on the power grid the way you used to.
No, mass electrification is going to be a thing.
Right. But that's why, we support off-grid living. We support decentralized living.
Bingo.
That's where an off-grid solar system makes a lot of sense. And again, you have a grid tie system, and that's the way most people build the systems.
Yeah.
But what I'm currently recommending is an entirely disconnected off-grid system with a large manual transfer switch.
Yep.
So you can transfer from the grid to the off-grid. They're never connected, which means there's no risk of your off-grid system pushing voltage upstream to the linemen who are trying to repair. Yeah. They're completely disconnected.
Right.
And then you use your off-grid system to charge your EV or your first screen, skid steer or whatever. Your weed whacker, battery powered weed whacker, or people have electric lawnmowers now.
Yeah, they do now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And why not? Don't you hate those small gas engines, even like a chainsaw, right?
Oh my gosh.
I hate chainsaw gas engines. They're the worst.
Yeah, me too.
They only work one time, and after that they never start again.
And then I also hate, the electrified blowers, right? Because inevitably the battery is, it's just
but that's going to change.
You always have a backup battery,
right?
And then, sometimes it works, sometimes, you're right. It's going to change. It's all going to. Batteries are going to become the new oil, Mike.
They will be currency. This is my prediction: is that kilowatt hours will be currency.
Yeah,
but
right.
You think about some of those companies that have the batteries, like let's say Milwaukee Tools or any of the, Makita, right? All these tool companies that have these really amazing battery powered tools. And I think there's a company, what is it called? Like Ego, that does the battery powered trimmers and lawn care equipment.
Yeah.
All of that stuff the capacities of those batteries are going to double and triple and quadruple over the next few years. that's already set in stone.
Right.
Because of what's happening mostly with China's battery technology, but also some out of Europe as well.
Man.
So you're going to, before long, you'll have a battery powered blower that will run for an hour solid.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
I need it.
Do you? What do you have a lot of leaves there? What's the deal?
It depends. It depends.
What are you blowing with the blower there?
A lot of love bugs, Mike. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Do you guys have love bugs in Texas?
No, we have scorpions and
do you know what love
rattlesnakes. We don't, nothing with the word love in front of it in
love
Texas.
Bugs fly and they're connected. Thus they call them love bugs.
Okay.
They
Really?
mate in the air.
Yeah.
And they have no enemies. Originally, they were brought to this country because they thought that they would get rid of mosquitoes. They do not. And so what happens is they become so prolific 2 times a year to where you have nothing. And then the next day you go down the highway or the road.
Really?
And literally your whole windshield is nothing but smashed love bugs.
Whoa.
You know the first thing to go through a love bug's mind when it hits
your
your windshield. It is its asshole.
Okay, that's a Florida joke. Okay.
But anyway, what happens is they fly all around and they have a short lifespan, so they just drop and die. So they end up coating your whole sidewalk, your porch, everywhere. It's horrible.
I didn't know that.
And they're so acidic. The reason why birds don't eat them or anything, they're so acidic that when they hit your vehicle, you better get it washed off like ASAP, or that acid is going to go through your paint.
Wait a minute. That was from the movie Aliens. The aliens have acid blood that burns your skin. You're talking about, these are like alien bugs.
They're little aliens.
Eat the paint off your car?
There are so many viewers right now listening saying, I know what you're talking about, Toddy. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's a thing.
Man, I thought we had it rough in Texas.
Yeah. Well, you guys have locusts, don't you?
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Katydids and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah. But you do have scorpions?
Oh, yeah. We have lots of scorpions.
Okay.
Yeah. You always check your bed sheets for scorpions, before you climb in.
How are your animals with the scorpions and dogs? They like go after everything, right?
Yeah, well, they've learned to avoid the scorpions.
They do. Okay.
The chickens eat them. Chickens eat the scorpions.
Do?
Oh yeah, they'll just gobble up all the scorpions and the little lizards and things. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they're not afraid of them.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You ever stepped into a boot and have a scorpion waiting for you?
No, I've had them sting me in my fingers when I picked up like a piece of lumber on the ground.
Really? Do they hurt like homemade sin?
It feels exactly like someone drove a nail through your finger, like you were Jesus on the cross. That's what it feels like.
Jesus.
Yeah. Aside from that, it's okay.
It's good.
Yeah. Aside from that, and it only hurts for hours. So hey.
Wow.
But let's get back on track here.
I have one question, regarding our guests and what we talked about. I just want to know, would you trust a remotely operated skid steer operated by, let's say, my grandson?
Well, first of all, I don't trust anybody on any of my equipment, period. Right. I mean, so no. But as far as a remotely operate, I mean, in a contract situation, it would have to be obviously a licensed remote operator.
Licensed, insured.
And by the way, the best case for teleoperated equipment is the excavator.
Yeah.
Clearly, because
that makes sense, right?
You could sit in a room. In fact, I thought I saw a video about this. You could sit in a room like a little simulator room, big screens, and you've got a couple of joysticks. You can rock an excavator all day remotely.
I bet. That's right. I think that's
right. And like you can just dig up gravel.
Well, I know there are surgeons out there that like literally across the room from where they're doing the operation, they're just operating it's like they're rock'em sock'em,
Yeah.
And so you could do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
the heavy equipment. I mean, it should be a piece of cake. If they can get in there and delicately move arms, I would imagine going in with brute force would be a piece of cake.
Well, the one time I allowed somebody to use my compact track loader, a couple hours later they came to me and said, Mike, I need your help to get this unstuck. Like, well, how badly stuck is it? Like, well, I think I need to show you. Uh-oh. It wasn't just stuck. It was freaking sideways.
Wow.
It was like, it was about ready to roll.
Oh my gosh.
They had it on the side of a slope in the mud, stuck and sideways.
Scary.
And the thing, people forget that you can use the bucket as kind of like a leg.
Yeah.
To get yourself out of situations, right? So if you don't know about that, you're going to get it stuck. But this equipment, or any kind of equipment like this can be very, risky for operators who don't know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And who was it? I was interviewing somebody earlier oh yeah. I was interviewing a guy that invented this pain patch.
Okay.
And his name is Mike also. He said his friend became an amputee from the knee down. I'm like, and that's how he ended up inventing and testing this pain patch. It's like, well, what happened to your friend? Oh, he got his leg caught in a stump grinder. Oh. Like, what? Why were you standing near a stump grinder? And what happens is people wear loose clothing with strings or a jacket with a string or gloves. People have had their hands caught, the glove with like an attachment strap, but they didn't, it wasn't Velcroed. And then that strap gets caught and it pulls your arm in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So fast too.
From my opinion, see, all the equipment that I own, if you get out of the seat, all the hydraulic flow stops.
Okay.
And clearly that's a built-in, very strict safety measure that has been forced onto all the equipment by the manufacturers, probably through various, injury lawsuits, whatever.
Yeah.
But I live in Texas. It's farm country. I know another guy who got his leg pulled into a combine because he was trying to troubleshoot something and then it just started. It's like the PTO kicked in. It's like, dude, these things happen all the time. It's crazy. So my advice would be the safest place is inside the vehicle. Like, don't get out.
Personal story, family story is my sister, she got married, found out she was pregnant. They lived on a ranch, and her husband was so darned excited about this baby. He's like, I gotta go work. He got in his bulldozer to go build dig a tailwater pit. Didn't come back. And ultimately later when everybody went searching, his bulldozer tipped over and killed him. And so this just horrible family story.
Yeah, you got to, I don't want to turn this into a nightmare of construction stories, but let's just say safety is important.
Yeah.
And if you're afraid of all injuries, then just use a shovel. It'll just take you 1,000 years to build your garden,
Pothole digger.
Yeah. Manually dig a post hole one time.
Yes.
And then you will buy a machine.
Exactly.
If you can get your shoulders to work the next day.
Oh my gosh. When I installed my DPE Agriculture X, the weather flushing machine.
Yes.
I had to do that with a post hole digger. And
oh my God.
It let me tell you.
How sore were you?
It took me 4 hours because because you've have one shipped to you, and I think you'll use a machine.
I would definitely use a machine. Yeah.
Yeah. But I had to go down, you have to go down almost 6 feet, right, to be able to bury it. But you have to do it at an angle, a 45-degree angle from the hole, because you have to have the wires. You'll see when you unpack it.
Okay.
The wires are supposed to be 15 centimeters from each side of the big copper tube, but it's actually from end to end. If you go from this end to this end of that copper wire, it's 130 centimeters. So when I was in there, and they want that to be parallel to the ground. So I had to be able to do that. I was doing like at a 45-degree angle, thinking that it's going to cave in because I'm at the edge. Anyway, 4 hours it took me to dig that. That was not fun.
Well, that's See, the whole point of this kind of equipment is that it amplifies your human intention, through the power of either old school diesel or now the power of electricity harnessed via sunlight or some other means.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of using sunlight to amplify human labor.
I think that's amazing. Yeah.
This, for example, just the other day I was repairing, because it had rained here in Texas and part of my gravel driveway had become muddy, just water pooled there. So I just needed to do a quick gravel repair job and just spread some gravel there. But of course, I had to fire up the big diesel machine to do that, which is overkill. It's like using a flamethrower to light a cigar,
Okay.
It's like, I would have much preferred to just turn on, one of the first green machines here, just turn it on and just zip out there, I'd be done in 5 minutes. I don't have to warm up the diesel and, I don't have to fire up some big piece of equipment in order to do a small job.
Yeah.
And there's also something else that's about this diesel equipment. Because of emissions controls from the EPA, especially the pre-Trump EPA, like the Biden and to some extent the Obama EPA, some of these engines, they will automatically go into a hyperheat generation fast RPM stage where they burn off the particulate matter in the exhaust system. And you can't stop that. You have to just sit there and it'll tell you on the screen, it's doing like an exhaust blow off phase or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So you're just sitting there, that machine is just going, and it's trying to get so hot in the exhaust that it burns off whatever sort of, I don't know what you call it, like caked on exhaust particles.
Okay.
It's trying to burn those off, and it does. Wow. But I've seen this on Kubota equipment. I've seen it on the John Deere equipment. I don't think I've seen it on Komatsu, but that's another thing where you lose control. Like, I mean, you can interrupt it sometimes, but normally you don't want to interrupt it because it requires this.
It's doing its thing.
Yeah, it's doing its thing. So you're just stuck. Like you can't really get any work done. And that won't happen with electric.
Right. There were two questions that I didn't ask him, but I think are appropriate to us who are concerned about decentralized living, Mike.
Okay.
And I'd love to ask them to you. So do equipment owners, like we were talking about with First Screen, do equipment owners truly own their machines if software updates, remote diagnostics, and connectivity become mandatory?
Well, he answered this question. He said they're very much an open model approach. They believe in your right to repair.
Okay.
And your right to upgrade.
Okay.
But your question is actually very important because there have been cases in the past. In fact, John Deere was subject to lawsuits on this because if you didn't get Deere equipment to replace, then I forgot the way it worked, but either they didn't honor their warranty or in some cases they could even remotely, like if you didn't pay your loan or something like that, they could turn off, they could make it so you couldn't start the tractor.
Wow. So NVIDIA, do they own John Deere?
NVIDIA?
That's a joke because they suck with their warranty replacement.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see what you mean.
Sorry, I'm just borrowing from some of your reports.
Right. No, well, John Deere has become hated by some farmers for not respecting the right to repair.
Yes, right.
And this, see, to me, I think this is a fundamental right also as an owner.
Yeah, it's a freedom right.
Exactly. And also, how do I know that company is going to be around forever? Like if I buy a Ford vehicle, what if Ford goes out of business one day,
You got it.
Surely I should be able to repair my own vehicle or to be able to upgrade it
Yep.
in a modular fashion. But he even said with one tool you can disassemble most of the unit.
Well, first screen
Amazing.
sounds like they get it. So my second question, Mike, was who should control operational data generated by equipment? The owner, the manufacturer, the dealer, or the cloud provider?
Well, that's also another great question. So typically the way these things work, I mean, I think the owner, of course, the customer should own that data. But what a lot of companies are doing is they're gathering what they call telemetry data off the usage of the vehicle in order to improve their understanding of the way customers use it and to find faults or to find, to find problems that they can improve on the engineering side. But typically what companies will say is that they anonymize those data and that they aggregate the data in a way that doesn't expose it to your identity. That's the more responsible way. But as a customer, I don't want to be GPS tracked. Right.
Absolutely not.
I don't want a company to know where I am on my vehicle 24/7. It's I mean, not that I'm doing anything weird. It's just none of their damn business where you know what I'm doing with the vehicle.
Yep.
But it's probably on my driveway is the answer, or it's near my garden, but it's still none of their business, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, if they start to gather telemetry data, then that data can be subpoenaed by law enforcement in certain edge cases where if there's a civil lawsuit, let's say if there's a husband and a wife or something, or a neighbor, and you're involved in some kind of civil lawsuit, like my neighbor, ran that vehicle over my dock or something. Right. Well, then that telemetry data, if it's got GPS in it, that could be used against you. Right. In a civil lawsuit, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if
you're operating your equipment near the White House on January 7th, I mean, it could come back to track at you, Mike.
I wasn't a protester. I was a landscaper with a skid steer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But those are great questions, Todd. I'm glad you asked those. But that's my opinion on the matter. However, I will tell you, on John Deere, there is a specific fuse that if you pull the fuse, there's no telemetry. Yeah. Ask me how I know. Out. Yeah, right. Because I pulled the fuse,
Exactly.
I don't.
That's a shocker, people. That's a shocker,
right.
isn't it?
It's right there in the fuse box. It's like, fuse number 9 or whatever. And it's not that difficult to figure out what fuse it is. But what I can do, if I want John Deere to remotely diagnose some problem that this machine is having, I can put the fuse in. And then it'll start talking through the cell towers, and then they can remotely pull codes or whatever. But that's my choice,
Do you think Hakeem ever is going to come out with above skid steer?
No. I don't think so. I think Hakeem is going to stick to phones and laptops.
Okay. Just wondering,
the engineering of a vehicle like this, I keep calling it a vehicle, machine. It's way more complicated than people think.
I bet.
Yeah. And I'm glad he said that, they built it on an electric drivetrain. And I think he said it's a 96 volt setup. And that tells you something right there. See, they didn't go with 48 volts. They doubled it. They went to 96.
Yep.
Because they need extremely high torque motors.
Right, I see. Yeah.
To push, think about it, you're pushing hydraulic fluid at what, like 5,000 PSI maybe, or whatever the pressures are. You know how strong of a motor you need to do that?
Yeah.
You need a lot of voltage.
You need a lot of junk in the trunk too, to be able to do that.
That's for sure, yeah. You're rolling around with junk in the trunk.
Just a rolling. Okay. Let's see. We discussed right to repair, sustainability. Man, I think we've covered everything that I had, Mike.
Okay. Cool.
What a great guest.
But there's one thing I want to add. He just flippantly said at the end there, he said he was going to maybe make a demo available to you. Did you hear him say that?
That's true.
Yeah. You should take him up on that.
Okay. Well, send me the contact info. Have Sally send it to me, and I'll reach out.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Well, heck, I'll pay to rent one, because I can put it to use on a ranch.
I know you can.
And,
I know you can.
I would love
you
to
would be
rent one of
more
these.
appropriate. It would be more appropriate for you. I have a wheelbarrow, and my food forest isn't, a ranch. So,
Well, and the other thing is these are wheeled vehicles, so they're not tracked, which means that they can leave wheel prints in your yard.
I gotcha.
The ground pressures on wheeled vehicles are much, much higher than tracked vehicles.
Ah, that makes sense.
So usually for landscaping, the landscapers like tracked vehicles to go across lawns.
Right.
You do that with wheels after a rain. Oh my God. Ruts.
In Florida?
Yeah. Yeah.
Half of the year? Forget it.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
So you don't want to roll that through your yard.
Right. But I will take him up on a trip to Prague to at least kick the tire.
So, well, if he offers you a demo, please say yes and try it.
Sure.
Maybe he would allow you to go to somebody's job site where they're using it and you could film something there.
Okay. Well, bring it. I'll do that.
I would do that if there's a place in Texas. I mean, we'd love to see it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to get in one and actually get a sense of what it feels like.
I think it would be great in studio. You lift up your garage door there and bring it on in.
Well, we could
plug it in. Serious.
Well, I'll tell you this. We're talking to another company, a totally separate company that has a different electric ranch vehicle that they are launching later this year, I think September. And they're going to sell me one of their vehicles.
Beautiful.
And they're going to deliver it. And it is going to be here.
Great.
And so we're going to turn this building into a little showroom.
I love that.
And we're going to demo that vehicle. But it's not it's not construction equipment.
Can you imagine 3 years ago when we started this, where it would have headed? You know what I mean? You have a showroom of electric bulldozers in your...
I mean, it won't be a showroom because I can't keep equipment here. I got to use it. It'll just be here for one day.
One day.
And then we'll film it,
Yep.
And then I got to take it because I got to use it.
Which, by the way, Mike, this is June. So we literally are coming up in a couple of weeks of our 3rd anniversary.
No way.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's amazing. And this year, I should mention, we have the best guests ever. Our guests keep getting better.
Yeah, they
and
do.
We're branching out to more topics, like today's topic, by the way.
Yep.
And I can't say publicly, but we have some guests that have already said yes. We're just trying to get the schedules to work. That will be mind blowing to the audience.
Right.
That are coming up. And it's gonna be amazing.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's man.
So, also, this entire time, well, given that it's June, it's almost half the year.
Yeah.
Which means that all the people who last December were scrambling to get a UNA,
right?
They now have a halftime warning. Like, we're halfway through this year. Don't wait till Christmas this year.
Oh my God. Yeah, everybody, I am going to stop taking consultations mid-November because this last year was just ridiculous.
Yeah, was it?
Oh my gosh. It was just crazy because everyone finally came to Jesus and realized, oh my gosh, I need to get one before the end of the year to be able to take advantage of it this year. And I'm like, yeah, and here they are in the 3rd week of December saying, can I still get it by the end of the year? And I'm like, my favorite line, you can't buy car insurance after the car accident,
Right.
So yes, thank you for bringing that up, Mike. It's just, the timing is right. But I do have to tell you, I know you have recently, you had mentioned something on one of your own broadcasts. I've had just a ton of consultations over the last, I'd say 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of people.
I did mention it in one or two of my podcasts.
Yeah. And people are getting it. And I, had a consultation. Actually, it was this morning, and the lady is just like, I always enjoy your show, and please give Mike my best and all of this. And she said, I always hear you talk about the UNA, and I always think, well, I'm gonna look into that and stuff. And she said, well, I just finally decided to look into it. I booked this consultation. Then by the end of we talked about her personal situation and her family's personal situation. By the end, she's like, man, why didn't I pull the trigger on a consult months ago? And I'm like, that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
As they say, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. But yeah, for anybody out there, just please go to my575e.com and do what I've now helped over 600 people acquire these. So do what over 600 people have at least done is they go to the site, they hit Let's Go, they put their name and email in, and then they get access to the hour-and-a-half interview of me interviewing Dennis Gray, who is a subject matter expert. There's a PDF that you can download that talks about the 32 positive attributes of operating a UNA, all free, everybody. And then if you have questions related to your own operating reality, just book a consultation with me. It's really easy. And if you move forward with the UNA, you get that modest consultation fee back. You just deduct it. And most people who do, Mike, have a consultation with me, I would say 90% of the people move forward with it just because it really becomes self-evident that it's a no-brainer. So,
I brought up your website, my575e.com. Let me just add, this is a no-brainer for many, many circumstances. However, we, as a disclaimer, we are not your financial advisors, folks.
Nope.
So, book a consultation with Todd, do your research, but understand this is codified under California law. This is written into law, and it was written by California lawmakers for their benefit, it turns out.
For California
But they couldn't write at the end of the law, can only be used by California lawmakers.
Right.
Because that would have made the law unlawful. So they had to kind of leave it open for everybody to take advantage of.
Yeah, I remember when you were doing your due diligence and your guy came back and said, I don't know, Mike, maybe one day they'll legislate these out of existence. And then when I told Dennis that, he said, if Mike only knew how many California legislators I've helped acquire their own, it would answer that question for him.
Right. Well, but there are two things in my mind that really cement the fact that this is created under the rule of law. Number one is that when and correct me if I'm wrong, but when a person creates one of these UNAs, and they can choose their own name if they want.
Yep.
First of all, the Secretary of State of California issues approval, signs off on it, and gives you, a number under California
association
law.
Number. Yeah.
Right. And then secondly, at the federal level, the IRS gives you a tax ID.
That's correct.
That is correct. Also an exempt tax ID.
Well, it's exempt from filing.
Exempt from filing, I should say.
I educate people on that when having the conversations.
Right.
But
you get the state level and federal level recognition of the instrument itself.
Yeah. And what's key to know, Mike, is Dennis has been helping people acquire these for over 40 years.
Wow.
Over 3,000 people, and there hasn't been one issue ever. Not one issue ever. If we just do what Dennis suggests, and I have the private Telegram group that now has 550 people in it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's just a lot of like-minded people. Most of them came through the show. So unlike me, when I acquired my UNA 7.5 years ago, if you acquire one today, whoever's viewing right now, you're not in it alone. We have 550 other people in there that have, and it's such a rich resource, the group in there. We have what's called the UNA Biz Directory, Mike, which is like a digital ebook. So if you are wondering how these work, if you are an LLC operator, if you are a 1099 earner, if you're a W-2 earner, if you have questions regarding property, how these things work with crypto or precious metals and the capital gains that we can advantage, if you know what I mean. It's all in that UNA Biz Directory that has been curated for 3 years, Mike.
Okay, that's important. And also just related to our guest today, and the fact if you buy a piece of equipment, any kind of construction equipment, let's say, typically there's some level of liability in owning it and operating it, right? Mm-hmm. And if you buy a piece of equipment, you should really look into, it makes a ton of sense to put that equipment under the UNA. Same thing if you had a jet ski or an ATV or a motorcycle or a car.
Yep.
And I'm just going to say,
but you want to be very careful. I tell people this.
Yeah.
Is you have to assess your risk of liability of getting sued. And so what I mean by that, I am not a drunk driver, but I'm really guilty sometimes of driving with my knee going down the road at, 45 miles an hour, returning a text to my wife. And if I hit somebody and they got sued, the owner of the vehicle got sued. And if it was the UNA that holds my house, my bank account, all of that, then everything is fair game. So that's where you have to just really be discerning and either, frankly, do what I did. And I've made the decision I'm not donating my vehicles to the UNA because that's my greatest form of risk. I'm just going to keep paying Geico. But
you can segment that into a different,
Exactly. If I had different, if I had equipment, farm equipment, things like that, then man, that would be a use case for a second UNA. I never try to upsell multiple UNAs. As a matter of fact, Mike, I have great credibility on this. I tell everybody, if you have one use case for a UNA, acquire it and then get into that private Telegram group. And it may take a year, 2 years or whatever to figure out how else to benefit from it. But just, how do you eat an elephant, Mike? One bite at a time.
Okay. Also, don't text and drive, I think is the other answer.
Yeah,
there.
Disclaimer.
Right. You can also just reduce your risk.
And then there's that.
Yeah, Todd. Hey, they have all the flock cameras now that are gonna catch you with your phone in your lap.
Yes,
because they can see they're doing that.
Are they really?
Oh yeah. Haven't you seen some of the outrage out there? There's all these flock cameras everywhere that are taking pictures of people, and then they're getting mailed these huge fines for having a phone.
No kidding?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I don't watch mainstream TV, so I usually probably
I'm just seeing these on social media, but then there was I think this was in Florida. There was a cop. This is the funniest cop video. This was from his body cam. He had a woman, and he said, "Roll down your window, please." He had her pulled over in her vehicle. It said, "I saw you with your phone in your right hand. You're a distracted driver. Your phone in your right hand." And she holds up an amputated right arm and says, "This right hand, but there's no hand. This right hand." It's like the ultimate own of a cop. He's like, "Well, maybe not in your right hand." and then
that's funny.
She said, "No, I was not holding a phone at all." And he says, "You swear? You swear you weren't holding a phone?" And with her amputated arm, she said, "I swear." She was mocking him for being, stupid enough to claim that she was holding a phone in a hand that she did not have.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Like the rest of us, we can't use that excuse.
That
it's like,
right.
But anyway, she did not get ticketed because that would be silly. And by the way, how did we end up with so many amputee stories in today's episode? I mean, I don't know. Where did that start?
I don't know, but
it wasn't intentional.
It's where this universe is rolling, Mike.
Well, look, we have great compassion for veterans and anybody who's been injured. If you're an amputee, Todd, you and I have been through our own injuries. I was almost a finger amputee, as you know, a few years ago. So we have compassion for everybody who's suffered through that. But be safe.
Yeah, be safe when you have machetes in your hand, not wearing gloves, and you're trying to cut down a banana.
Yeah, how is your thumb? By the way?
It's my finger. Yeah, no, it's perfect.
It was the finger. Oh,
it was the finger. It's my trigger finger.
Man. Oh man.
But that was horrible.
Okay. Let's
we won't.
Let's move on.
Right.
let's move on. All right. Yeah, we're about to wrap this up, but let me mention that also this show is supported by rangerdeals.com. And we have affiliate arrangements with these various providers, not only Battalion Metals, which is co-founded by Tucker Carlson, and very honest, high integrity, gold and silver retailers there with great pricing. We've got Above Phone with Hakeem with the privacy phones. Here's BioLongevity Labs, but also Limitless Peptides that has the healing peptides that I've been using, just the intranasal spray and the oral supplementation for 16 months now. And just hit another new exercise milestone yesterday with
really?
Yeah, with kettlebells out in the mud in the rain yesterday. And it was I keep getting stronger and the injuries are just gone. It's amazing. But on the site, we've got deals with the satellite phone store, SAT123. Use discount code RANGER. And they also sell Starlink systems. So Starlink123.com, as well as they have now, what do they have? Faraday bags to protect your electronics. That's at darkbags.com. And they have the Escape Zone clothing that has the Faraday pockets in the jackets. Mm-hmm. So you can be out on the town and you can put your phones in your Faraday pockets and then boom, you're off the grid. Kind of cool.
Yeah, that's very cool if it's January 7th.
So that's all at escapezone.com or sat123.com.
Is Nessa's oil on there? Or
Nessa's hemp. Yeah, I think we have Nessa's hemp. Here it is right here. Yeah.
Yeah,
save 5%.
I sent you a video, and I'm like, "Oh, you should. We should figure out how to get her on." And you're like, "Yeah, like we carry her. We've interviewed her." And then
I've interviewed her before.
Yeah, and I went and watched your interview of her, and man,
good.
I've been using that, and like BP 157 is working for you. For me, Nessa's hemp is like been magic for some things that that I need. Yeah, I mean, I'm look, I didn't know. It's like I didn't know burying a big copper thing in my backyard would work so well. It's like, I just really, take when people whom I trust suggest something, I'm in, let's give it a shot. But
I mean, part of the goal of our show is to connect people with things that they would never have known about through normal media channels.
Yep.
Like our guest today, like who knew that you could have an all electric skid steer?
Right. Who knew?
Made in the Czech Republic.
You guys have to appreciate, and I sent Mike this, said I had DTV send me something funny and said, there's the Lone Ranger and Tonto, and then there's the Health Ranger and Toto.
That was
we
funny.
did a funny picture and stuff, and it's just like, you guys have to know, it's just like I could never out Mike. I know my lane, but I really try to do a good job of researching in-depth questions with guests. And man,
you do.
We're doing 2 a week now, and it's just fantastic. It's just like I'm enjoying it so much. But I, hopefully people know there's a lot that you and I put into producing these shows to be able to bring this information to people, and it's only going to get better and better and better and better, Mike.
Yes, and our producer also does a lot of work to, to book everybody and arrange everything.
She's great.
Yeah, she is. And it's kind of, huh?
I was going to say producer, and then you have your editors.
And then our editors, amazing. And our crew here in the studio right now. But what's interesting about reaching out to invite people to the show is that, because we're not a mainstream show. So not everybody in the world has heard about, like, we're not Joe Rogan, right?
Nope.
So when we invite people on the show, then they have to learn about the show. So they go to DTV, the website, Decentralized.tv, and then they start watching the shows.
Yeah.
And then normally the reaction I get is, oh my God, how did I not know about your show before?
Exactly.
Because this is amazing information, all these different episodes,
Yep.
And then occasionally we'll have somebody that will say, well, we're not ready to come on your show yet. Or that's actually the case with one company we're talking to right now. Like they want to wait a few months because they're afraid that if they come on now, that there's going to be too much interest in a product that they can't ship yet.
That makes sense.
Right? Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to schedule some things out, even though I want them on today, but they don't want to come on until, August or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that happens.
Well, we're coming up on 3 years. I can't imagine, Mike, we're going to be at a point one day where we'll be talking about, wow, we're hitting our 5-year milestone. And, I just think about all of the guests that we're going to have between now and then. It's just going to be amazing. The repository of decentralized content that helps people literally change their lives.
There's one other thing that's related to that. You know how we've been trying to get robots here on the show, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, hold on, let me bring this up. There was this is going viral now. Here it is. Let me just show my screen so people can see this. Go ahead and show my screen. So here's a Chinese dancer. He goes on America's Got Talent, okay? And he's dancing, let me just fast forward here. He's dancing with these Unitree robots, okay?
Wow.
Let me forward it even more to where, here we go. They're actually doing the dancing, okay?
Whoa.
Right? So you see this?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to pause it because I don't want to use too much of their footage here. But this, you and I talked about bringing robots on the show.
Right. Yeah.
And we're still talking to robot makers, and they're not ready yet.
Nope.
Because what we want robots to do cannot be choreographed.
Right.
We want a robot to go over to the kitchen and make a smoothie,
Yep.
They can dance, but they can't make a smoothie yet.
Yeah. Open a gate and go. Don't trip over the hose that's going to the food for us because we got to water it.
We ain't got no hose here. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean the drain pipe? Oh. No, sorry.
Yeah, my food bowl is hose, eh?
This was on America's Got Talent. Okay, show the screen again if you would. This is on America's Got Talent. There is nothing on that stage that is from America. Okay?
Right.
Not even the dancer.
Right.
So the show should be renamed China's Got Tech.
There you go.
Because this is Chinese robots, Chinese dancer, Chinese choreography, right? It's brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but it's not America's Got Talent.
No. China's got talent and tech.
China's got tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, when the day comes that we can have maybe Unitree or some other robot here in the studio doing useful things, we're going to do that.
We will.
And maybe that's going to be 2027. Who knows?
You'll see it here first, though.
You'll see it here. But I'm not dancing with the robots, okay? Just in case you're wondering. That's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. But no. you will challenge them to a Rubik's Cube contest.
Yeah, we'll do cubing with the robots. But I wonder, but out of the box, I don't think they're going to be very, very good at the cube. They would have to be, that would probably be like a download to do cubing,
Well, and they'd probably get it pretty quickly then with the download.
Yeah, I would imagine. But I definitely want them to do useful things, like folding laundry and sweeping the floor and picking up trash. Of course, pulling weeds is the ultimate thing. So
pulling weeds.
We'll take them outside and they can pull weeds out there.
Prepare dinner.
Yeah. So that's the goal here on the show is we're going to have robots and we're going to have other technology. We're going to demonstrate electric vehicles, electric ranch vehicles. We're going to demonstrate off-grid solar systems. And we've invited the CEO of a major Texas-based solar inverter manufacturer.
Cool.
Onto the show. So we'll see if he wants to come in person or do that remotely or whatever the case may be. But we're going to demonstrate all of this coming up this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it fun, everyone. Yeah,
we will.
We have our after parties, and I don't think we disappoint usually, Mike.
No, but we didn't get too crazy today.
No, we didn't.
Which is unusual for us. So we're doing good.
Yeah, we did because we didn't plan for a longer after party.
Yeah. This is a spontaneously and unusually normal after party.
It is. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up, Todd, because I just received an old Apple IIe computer.
You did?
I did. It's sitting over there. I'm going to set it up on my desk for the next episode, next to the TRS-80 from Radio Shack from 1981.
Excellent.
And so we're going to have the Computing Museum here.
I love
in
that.
an upcoming show. How about that?
Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
All right, Mike.
Well, thank you, Todd.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. As always, cheers.
Yep. Thank you all, and check out all the other episodes at decentralized.tv. I'm Mike Adams. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Start your day right with our organic hand-roasted whole bean coffee. Low acid, smooth and bold. Lab tested and ethically sourced. Taste the difference. Only at healthrangerstore.com.